Did you know the oldest fossils of Homo sapiens were found in Africa? This is not just a regional story, it's the beginning of the human story. Today, we journey through the vast and interconnected histories of the African continent, from the dawn of humanity to the rise of modern nations. Our story begins in Africa, the cradle of humankind. Scientific evidence points to Africa as the origin point of Homo sapiens. The oldest widely accepted fossils, dating back approximately 315,000 years, were discovered at Jebel Irhoud in Morocco. Further evidence comes from Omo Kaibish and Hato in Ethiopia, with fossils dating back 195,000 and 160,000 years respectively. These discoveries highlight Africa's pivotal role in the evolution of our species. Major migrations out of Africa began tens of thousands of years ago, with a significant expansion occurring around 70,000 to 60,000 years ago. These migrations populated the rest of the world, making every human story, in essence, an African story. As humans settled, complex societies began to emerge. One of the most well-known is ancient Egypt, flourishing along the Nile River by around 3100 BC. Nama is traditionally credited with uniting Upper and Lower Egypt, laying the foundation for a civilization that would leave an indelible mark on history. But Egypt wasn't alone. South of Egypt, in present-day Sudan, the kingdom of Kush, also known as Nubia, rose to prominence. With its capital at Kama around 2500 to 1500 BC, Kush became a formidable power. Later, the Nabatean and Meroitic periods saw further cultural and economic flourishing. At one point, Kushite rulers even formed Egypt's 25th dynasty, ruling from around 744 to 656 BC, demonstrating the interconnectedness of these ancient civilizations. Further east, in present-day Ethiopia and Eritrea, the kingdom of Aksum emerged as a major trading empire by the 1st century CE. Its strategic location made it a vital link between the Roman world and the Indian Ocean trade network. Aksum's power and influence grew, making it one of the great powers of the late ancient world. The conversion of King Ezana to Christianity in the 4th century CE cemented Ethiopia's Christian tradition, which continues to this day. Moving west, the Sahel region witnessed the rise of powerful empires that controlled trans-Saharan trade routes. The Ghana Empire flourished from the 6th to the 13th centuries, accumulating wealth through trade in gold, salt, and other commodities. It's important to note that the Ghana Empire was located in the Sahel, not in present-day Ghana. As Ghana declined, the Mali Empire rose in its place in the 13th century. Founded by Sundiata Keita after the Battle of Karina around 1235 CE, Mali became one of the largest and wealthiest empires in West Africa. One of its most famous rulers was Mansa Musa, who reigned from about 1312 to 1337 CE. His pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324 became legendary, showcasing the empire's immense wealth and influence. The sheer amount of gold Mansa Musa brought with him caused hyperinflation in Cairo, disrupting their economy for years. The Songhai Empire eventually eclipsed Mali in the 15th and 16th centuries. Under rulers like Sunni Ali, who reigned from 1464 to 1492, and Askia Muhammad I, who ruled from 1493 to 1528, Songhai expanded its territory and controlled vital trade routes. However, the empire was ultimately defeated by the Moroccan invasion of 1591 at the Battle of Tondebay, marking a turning point in West African history. Along the East African coast, the Swahili coast developed as a network of trading city-states from about the 9th century CE onward. These city-states, such as Kilwa, Mombasa, and Zanzibar, acted as intermediaries between the interior of Africa and the wider Indian Ocean world, connecting Africa with Arabia, Persia, India, and later Europe. Further inland, Great Zimbabwe emerged as a major center between about 1100 and 1450 CE. This impressive stone-built complex likely served as a political and commercial hub, showcasing the architectural and engineering skills of its builders. In West Central Africa, the Kingdom of Congo emerged by the late 14th century. Its sophisticated political and social systems impressed early European visitors. The kingdom encountered Portuguese traders in 1483, marking the beginning of a complex and ultimately transformative relationship. In southern Africa, large-scale state formation included Mapungubwe, which flourished from about 1075 to 1220 C. Later, in the early 19th century, Shaka Zulu transformed the Zulu kingdom into a powerful military force, impacting the political landscape of the region. The arrival of Europeans in the 15th century marked a new chapter in African history. Portuguese sailors reached the West African coast, with Bartolomeu Dias rounding the Cape of Good Hope in 1488 and Vasco da Gama reaching India via the Cape route in 1498. This opened up new trade routes and led to increased European involvement in Africa. The transatlantic slave trade had a devastating impact on Africa, forcibly removing an estimated 12.5 million Africans from their homes. The vast majority were destined for plantation economies in the Americas, their labor fueling the growth of Atlantic capitalism. The Berlin Conference of 1884-1885 formalized the European partition of Africa, dividing the continent among European powers without any African representation. By the early 20th century, most of Africa was under European colonial rule, with only a few exceptions. Ethiopia, under the leadership of Emperor Menelik II, famously preserved its independence after defeating Italy at the Battle of Odwa in 1896. Liberia, founded by freed American slaves, also remained formally independent, though its politics were heavily influenced by the United States. Colonial rule brought about significant changes to African societies, including the reorganization of borders, economies, labor systems, education, and political authority. Yet, African resistance to colonial rule was persistent and multifaceted. Acts of revolts, strikes, and organized resistance movements challenged European domination. The fight for independence gained momentum in the mid-20th century. Ghana became the first sub-Saharan African colony to gain independence in the modern era on March 6, 1957, under the leadership of Kwame Nkrumah. The 1960s are often referred to as the Year of Africa because 17 African states gained independence in that single year. The struggle against apartheid in South Africa was a defining moment in African history. The Union of South Africa was formed in 1910, but apartheid, a system of racial segregation and discrimination, became formal state policy after 1948. Decades of resistance and international pressure eventually led to the dismantling of apartheid, and in 1994, Nelson Mandela was elected as the first president of a democratic South Africa. Namibia gained independence in 1990, marking the end of South Africa's illegal occupation. In 2002, the African Union was launched, replacing the Organization of African Unity, which had been founded in 1963. The African Union aims to promote unity, solidarity, and cooperation among African states. From the earliest humans to the complex societies and the struggle for independence, Africa's story is one of resilience, innovation, and cultural richness. It is a story that continues to unfold, shaping the future of the continent and the world. Scene 1 Jebel Irhoud, Morocco, archaeological site at sunset, showcasing the landscape where early Homo sapiens fossils were discovered. No people, cinematic 8K.